Good evening, welcome back, and just feel like I need to do another reading. And I came on earlier, and me and my lightwork friend, who's also a channel for Source, she's done the work in her many years, and she's been awake all her life also. Me about 8 years that I know of, but I think possibly more. I'm just going to sit with my knees out, 'cause I'm having a bit of issues with my knees lately. But, yeah, just feel like another Mary Magdalene reading coming in. I think it's to do with this portal, you know, that we're in, and the full moon, and the veils thinner to connection, which doesn't need to be these days for me, because I feel like my gifts have heightened, you know, a lot. I'd say since the rare blue moon, and yeah, the more that I've healed, and the more I push through my spiritual awakening, the more my gifts get stronger. And earlier, me and my friend Chrissy, my lightwork friend, we balance each other out, you know. So she's a divine masculine in her connection. She's also a twin flame, and I'm divine feminine in my connection. Not by coincidence, you know, we found each other, and we've been aligned on this path. So we both knew there was going to be like a reading and the channeling and all of that, you know. And it wasn't until we finally come together in the physical. So we get our downloads separate, you know. So Chrissy's at her home and she's getting told to bring this by her spirit team. I'm getting my downloads at my end, so I'm setting up and saying we need to do this on this day, so come to mine, and alignment, you know, by our spirit team. So yeah, and then although we knew that what we had to bring, you know, so Chrissy turned up with a big rose quartz, pointed rose quartz. She also turned up with this thing. She got told that a spirit team said to bring this to Ellie, and also she also had the same one in smoky quartz. So we was meditating with this, and chat, you know, tuning into what's going on, spirit, you know, show us what you want us to align to, and all of that, yeah. So yeah, no coincidence, you know. So she was getting her downloads from her end, and I'm getting my downloads from my end, and we meet in the middle. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So this one is divine masculine, and the smoky quartz one was divine feminine. So we didn't know that. She just got told to bring these, and we did our thing, and unfolded the way it unfolded, you know. And that's what we're beginning to realise, is that the more we just organically go with it and we just flow with it, we knew we was going to do something. We didn't quite know what that something was until we got here. We started to meditate, we got in our zone, we tuned in, and it all started to flow, you know. And it was about the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies. And the rose quartz was the heart of these energies. So yeah, but back on, because I also showed an anointing. So that's one of the gifts that's returned to me, and I do believe it is the sole purpose. Let's been guided to during my spiritual awakening. I've got many gifts because of the ancient soul that I am. So the multidimensional being that I am, as we all are. So I've got many gifts. So Reiki practitioner, Angelic Reiki practitioner, Lightlanguage, or yeah, many gifts. Candle maker. Over the 8 years of my spiritual awakening, I've lost count on the gifts that have returned to me, but I know why. Because this is my last incarnation. I am an ancient soul, 144. Been here many times. Done this journey, you know, back, yeah, I've done it many times. This is the lifetime I find all the multidimensional fractals of myself, bring them whole into one, return them to me. You know, these gifts I wasn't even aware I had them 8 years ago. Well, I'm certainly aware now. So connection to source, psychic medium, all of that. Bring them all into wholeness, and then I share them with who I'm meant to help, you know, on my journey. And that's many. So one of the gifts, what I will be releasing a video, is anointing. Well, that's quite recent. I would say it's as recent as when I went to the Mary Magdalene cave in France. So that was a few months back, I would say, maybe a bit longer now. When I returned from there, my usual Reiki sessions took a turn, you know. So, yes, the angels and the spirit team come in, and the dragons and the light language, but then the anointing started to come in, you know, and yeah, I was drawn to the anointing oil and wanting to anoint, and obviously I knew it was connection to my my rose path, you know, and my rose top today. But I'm drawn to all things roses, you know. So if you're drawn to things roses, and I'm not talking about you just go to the supermarket and you buy some roses. No, I'm on about that deep knowing of roses keep coming into your view, you know. Because they did for me. My very first candle that I ever made 8 years ago, another gift that returned to me, was a rose quartz with Indian rose and musk fragrance. But I didn't know back then the symbolic meaning of the rose, because I'd not done as much work back then. I was just waking up to, I had this connection to source, connection to the angels. Didn't even know that I had connection to Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. No, that wasn't even in my viewpoint then. I was just trying to understand my connection to source, you know. So I was just like, I'm hearing voices, and they're not coming from inside the house, but they're coming from somewhere. So it was like, yeah, there's a lot going on. Spiritual awakening. If you're having a true awakening, there's a lot coming back in at you, and it can be discombobulating, and yeah, you know, you can feel a bit dizzy on this path, and there's a lot. It's emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual. It's every angle it hits you at, and these gifts that return to you. So the anointing, I wrote the automatic writing down. So I did an anointing earlier on Chrissy, because this morning I got the downloads that I'm to anoint her and I'm to show it online, this gift of mine. And I know why it's returned to me, because I've been anointed. So this is my divine purpose, you know. So I've been anointed by God. So that Christ like that's returned inside of me. Yeah, I know that one of my gifts is anointing. And it's a highly beautiful, sacred gift, you know. And Mary Magdalene was an anointer with oils, so the rose oil, frankincense and myrrh, and yeah, so it makes sense to me, you know, all the connection, all the dots, yeah. And it just returned to me also after the cave. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why I returned there. I say returned because Mary Magdalene came through to me and said, "Welcome home, sister." And I was like, "Oh, home. I'm actually home." You know, so it's that deep remembrance, that knowing when you do the work, deep, daily spiritual work for many years, that remembrance starts to return, that DNA gets rebooted, and these gifts start to return, you know, the mollies you remove of yourself, so you go into your wounds, your traumas, all of that. Your gifts are returning, you know, all of your remembrance. So ancestral also, it's as deep as ancestral, you know. So once you start removing these ancestral wounds and traumas, and yeah, it goes that deep. It's DNA. So one of my DNA remembrances is the gift of anointing, and it returned to me during my spiritual awakening, and it's pretty recent. I would say, yeah, a few months back. So it's recent, you know, and she had me doing anointing on my first well-being day, again, alongside my friend Chrissy, the divine masculine. So we was both in the same tent, so it was like a well-being festival, and it was our first one we'd done together, and it just flowed organically. So Chrissy, not by coincidence, was channeling her beautiful multidimensional channels that she brings through, and the rose came up for this particular lady, so the wife of this particular man who then wanted a reading off me while waiting for his wife to have her channeling from Chrissy. So he then was like, "What's these readings about then?" And I said, "Well, it depends on what you need, you know, because it's all specific to that person. What will come through will come through. I don't know what's going to come through until I become that vessel, that open channel, and we get it flowing." So this was the first well-being festival that I'd been anointing, and I had Mary Magdalene on show, and I had my candles and everything with me, but I knew leading up to it, that seer in me, that oracle in me, as Mary Magdalene was also, that prophet, yes, that seer, you can see things before they come, that she gives also, it's the clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience that returns to you. So I knew I was specifically getting prepared for anointing people at this festival, not to sell candles. I did sell a couple of candles, but I knew the focus was Mary Magdalene and the readings. So this particular gentleman, his wife came back for Chrissy's readings, but I knew I was going to be anointing one of them. The minute I signed up at myself, I knew that. But the wife decided that she wanted Chrissy's channeling, and he was waiting, and he was like, "I might as well have a reading." So I was like, okay. So I totally forgot about one of these being anointed, you know, because that was earlier on in the day. And I said, yeah, okay, choose your cards. So he chose. Didn't choose the Mary Magdalene cards, so these cards here. I had these on show because I knew I was there for anointing, you know. I had Malamarian ready, and he could have chose Mary Magdalene, he could have gone for the Lemurian, he could have gone for the angels, he could have gone for the positivism, and that is the one that I did go for. So, you know, positivism is, you know, the normal oracle cards. So I was like, right, so let's see where this reading goes then. And first card that came out, I read, and it was about the moon, and the moon's the divine feminine energy, and it was about, so I read what it meant, and yeah, it's the divine feminine energy and all of that. And then right at the bottom, my spirit team told me to carry on reading, and right at the bottom of it, verse. So I was like, you're here for the anointing. And he was like, am I? And I was like, yeah. I said, verse. I said, these cards, I didn't even know they had verse in them. You're here for the anointing. They've just told me you're here for the anointing. So he was like, okay, what's that? You know, because I think he just thought it was getting a reading. That's how my readings come out, because it's organic. It's pure organic channeling, you know. I have to become that vessel and yeah, become that clear channel source to channel for me. So he was like, okay. So he said, and what's that then? So I said, let's pull another card first and let's get some more messages, but you're here for the anointing. So he did another card, and that card, oh no, I said to him, I said, are you holding on to something that you need to let go of? Like somebody, you know, truly hurt you, and you really, you need to let go of. I said, I feel like you're here to release something. And then he was like, and then he shuffled the card, and it was to do with his mother, his childhood. He shuffled the card, and the second card that came out was release the past. So I was like, it's the anointing. I'm here to anoint your heart, and yeah. So that was the it was the first male also, it was the first masculine I did the anointing on. That day it was all women. You know, it just flowed. It was like Mary was flowing for me. And that's what happened today. And you'll see on the video that I released. So me and Chrissy was like, what are we doing then? And she was like, well, you're going to do the anointing, aren't you? Share the anointing. I was like, well, I think so. I said, I don't know exactly what we're here for. I said, let's just flow with it, just like we did at Wellbeing Day. Because we balance each other out. She's the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Once we just flow with it, we become we become each other's activators also, you know. So, and we balance each other out, and it just flows so perfect, you know. So we did that today, and again, just organically, you know, flowed. So anointing, yeah. I'm sharing my anointing gifts. I'm also offering now, so the Mary Magdalene Rose Petal Path offerings, divinely guided by Mary to start offering these. So meditation. So what you will see is, you will see me doing a short meditation of the Rose Petal Path, and just, you know, anchoring us into Mother Earth and connection source, calling in the protection, all of that. So that's just the taste there of what you will see. But if you decide to book with me, you'll get a lot more than that, you know. And yeah, the highest Christ-like healing, you know, because I know that I've been anointed, I've been touched by, anointed myself, with Christ-like that's returned to me, you know. So, and the gifts of remembrance that I remember doing. Yeah, one of my past lives, you know. So yeah, Mary Magdalene had me anointing at this wellbeing fair I wrote. Yeah. So So yeah, yeah, it was since I got called back to the Cave of Eggs. I knew she was calling me back there for something. 'Cause that's their sacred place, you know, that was their place for 30 years of her life, you know, that's where she fled to, that was where she ended up when she fled, and yeah, it's where she meditated, and that's where she lived the rest of her life, taught her teachings, you know. So yeah, when she said welcome home sister, I was like, it felt familiar, you know, like I had been there before. So the anointing that day, although I'd not done it before, it just flowed out of me, because anointing also, it's the intention, you know. So the oil, the Rose of Sharon oil or frankincense and myrrh oil, whatever they want me to anoint with, this oil already came to me blessed. So it's the olive oil of Jerusalem, so it's already blessed. But then I called Mary and Yeshua in to bless the oil. So I did a meditation and I did the blessing, called them in to bless this oil, you know, the intention behind it, the saying. So it's intention. So, you know, when I did the anointing, I brought them in and, you know, invoked to them, and I said a prayer. So it's that intention, you know, prayer. Yeah, it's the intention behind it, and the blessings. That's the blessing. And yeah, it's a beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I felt the emotion, and I had people crying, and the man, he was just like, what's just happened there, you know, and it and it was just beautiful, and it's just such a gift, and I'm so grateful now for the gifts that's returned to me, and yeah, just it's like I've been doing it, you know, all my life and that, but I know that I'm the vessel, you know. So yes, I have done this, but in this lifetime I am the vessel, you know. So I remember these gifts, yes, but so yeah, but it's the intention behind it, you know. So the blessings that you put into it. So yeah, feel Mary come through again. Spot the rose. So this portal, this lionsgate portal, very, very powerful energetic gateway. It's triple 8 also, so you know there's 8, and 8 can be the infinity. You know, I've had karma coming in also, so this is my latest code. So if you follow me, you'll know that my light codes. That's another sacred gift that's returned to me, DNA. So karma, that's my light code for karma that came through. So yeah, I've had karma coming through, so ending of, you know, cycles and all of that in this energetic gateway. We're in full moon, so if you're feeling a bit irritable, and also hot flushes, but I mean in another level hot flushes. So like, I know what DNA upgrades feel like, because I've been on this path a long time. So yeah, all that, yeah, my friend Chrissy, she was saying these sweats, you know, yeah, because it's the energy field, you know. So we're being fingered with this energy, pummeled with this energy, and it's also Leo season, so it's the sun, so it's creative, it's fiery. I'm a Leo, so it's nearly my birthday, you know, so we're in Leo season. What else is going on? I'm sure there's something else going on, but the energies, you know. So this portal, this Lionsgate portal, it's here till the 12th. The peak of it is obviously the 8th. I'm working with this energy. That's why me and Chrissy have been brought together in these portals, you know, Chrissy said it herself today, it's always sort of like in these portals, the alignment, yeah, divine order, so there's a divine plan. So yeah, get working with this energy, you know. So meditation, journaling, manifesting, planting new seeds, releasing the old. So just before coming online earlier, we set an intention and we released what we no longer wanted to hold on to, and we also called in what we would like, you know, abundance in all areas of our life. Yeah. So yeah, get using this Lionsgate portal and the full moon. Perfect energetic gateway. Very powerful. So yeah, let's get a message from Mary. Yoko soto shoto yana iya keso oya iya siono shoya iya hoiko sho sacred heart. Io soto ikanana ishono no yamana is ik oto shoto. Thank you, Mary. Just a message. Yeah, I can see. So portal, so I can see. Use this gateway. Use these energetic gateways, these portals that, you know, you must be hearing more and more portals and all of that. Yeah, Mary's saying use these. I could see it in my mind's eye then. Go through the portal, she's saying. Step through the portal. Okay. Let's get a message from Mary. Yeah, I'm going to release them videos. Whoop, that jumped out. Number 10. Completion. Yeah, our greatest importance is to see the love of God within thyself, all others and all things. And what was I saying about the anointing? I feel like I've been touched by God. And 8 years on my spiritual awakening path, I know I have, you know, this gift of anointing that is touched by God, you know. So I know I'm a 144. I know I chose to do this. I know I'm an ancient soul. I know I'm a twin flame, divine feminine. I know all of that because I've done the work. Yeah, and to be anointed is to be touched by God. So my purpose is to then touch others, you know, with the Christ light that I hold inside of me. We all hold Christ light inside of us. Yeah, to do God's work, you know. So perfect, yeah. Yeah, and it says the love of God within thyself. Yeah, see that, you know, now. See that I have been anointed. See that. I feel it. I know my purpose. I know how to anoint others. I know that no matter what tries to come my way, nobody can knock me off my path. Yeah, you know, when you've been touched by God, you know. And you see that in all others and all things. Yeah, you do. So I know that you hold Christ's light inside you also. And it's about the two energies, you know. So the divine feminine, divine masculine energy. Perfect harmony. Then you become in balance and you're like, we hold this inside us. We hold Christ light inside us, you know. We always have done. Been hidden. Okay, any more, Nary? She's saying the other deck. The other deck. So I've got another one. So could say I'm mad about Mary, you know, but yeah. She's just said Mary's mad about Ellie. yeah. Thank you, Mary. Okay. So one message, please. Mary, what's the message? In the lionsgate portal. Yeah, so if the energies are intense, I get it. They are. Just the other day I felt, yeah, this card here. Yeah, this card here. So, yeah, just the other day, my light work friend Chrissy was like, "Hell, I'm on a rampage today. I feel." I was like, I know. I was like, can't seem to, and I couldn't get out of bed neither. Like, I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I felt energetic 1 minute, and then I felt absolutely exhausted the next minute. And I say I don't know what's going on, but I do know what's going on. It was the energies, because you know, you're feeling something that intense. Yeah, you know, it's coming from a different level altogether, you know. But yeah, we're in a powerful energetic gateway. I'd say one of the most powerful transformative ones. But then again, the rare blue moon was very transformative for me, and that my psychic gifts and visions were coming more and more and more. So I guess it's how you use it. So maybe see, step through the portal. So ascension, further up is further in. Yeah, so stepping through this portal. Try and get it on because it wasn't showing up earlier. Stepping through the portal. So going inside your cave. Further up is further in. Yeah. So the more you ascend, the more, you know, you return that remembrance back to yourself and the gifts, you know. So the more you keep leveling up in consciousness, removing layers of yourself, and this rose on here just keeps catching my eye. Yeah, I was going through like rose tops and all sorts. I'm just, yeah, roses. So the more these petals, you allow the petals to unfold and you become this rose. You know, you wait for these thorns also. Yes, wait for the thorns. Because the thorns are there, you know, they're our biggest teachers. So our wounds, our traumas, all of that. Yeah, you wait for them, you know, you don't cut them off, no. You heal them and you wait for them. So they're our biggest teachers. Without the ferns, you'd never know you're the rose. You just wouldn't. So I'm grateful of my thorns now, because I know that I'm that fully bloomed rose. So yeah, the further you go, up in ascension, further in, the more you recover, you know, of yourself. And this card, remembering, I know who I am. Yeah, further you go, level up in consciousness, do the work, step through the portals. The more you remember of who you truly are and your spiritual gifts. So I know I'm in consciousness pretty high up, you know, because that Christ light and that knowing of I've been anointed by God, you know, I chose to do this, you know, the 144 chosen, God's army, you know. We've been on the front line, we've been doing the work for years. We got sent out on the front line, you know, because we knew what was coming for others. So that was another download I received years ago. you've got to go ahead. And I was like, why do I have to go ahead? Like, you know, because you're going to show others the way. Just like Nary has been showing me the way on the rose petal path. I now, with the remembrance and the DNA, you know, that I've rebooted inside myself for further up, you know, further in, yes. We'll go stepping through these portals and using these energetic gateways. I know who I am. You know, we've known who you are. You can't be swayed by anybody, projections, judgments. No, you know who you are. You've done the work. You've stepped through these portals, you know, these energetic gateways, time and time again. It's hard work, you know, because these gateways, as you could possibly be feeling, can't speak for others, but I know that I feel the energy. Yeah, it's hard work, but the further up is further in. Keep leveling up, and you find more of yourself, and you remember who you truly are. You find that Christ light inside yourself. Thank you. Any more, Nary? Any more? This card here, love. And these are my codes, so that's also a gift that's returned to me. So light, you know, comes through in many forms. So I draw light codes. They've had me doing my own deck recently. I automatic write, so it's channeling. So I'm channeling. What else? Yeah, speak ancient soul language again. Channeling. I've become that clear channel because I've gone farther up, so I've gone farther in, and I've returned that back to me, you know, of who I truly am. And my gifts, love. Say an end with love. It starts with love. It starts with love for yourself. Not in an ego way, you know, because you balance the ego out on this journey. Yeah, you do. Your ego comes with you. Your ego is human. We need that human. But this journey, further up you go, you know, you go, the further in you go, you find the divine. So that Christ light, it starts with love. Yeah, it starts with love. And it ends with love, you know. So at the end of your journey on this earthly realm, that's the legacy you leave. Unconditional love. That's what we're here for. It's all love. Okay, shall leave it there. And I hope you liked this. I knew I had to do another reading. Could feel it coming through. But yeah, I'm going to release those videos, and Chrissy is absolutely amazing, and our channeling, our work that comes through, you know, every time she just amazes me. Like, she's been awake since you know, forever, her whole life she's been awake, and it gives her amazing, you know. And I work with the pictures that she's brought through for me, and it's those energies I need at that time, you know. So yeah, but Chrissy explains it on a video what she did today, so I'll be releasing that. I'll be releasing the anointing, and I say I'm doing the offerings now, so just message me and we can set that up, one-to-one Zoom sessions. Very transformative, you know, very healing, and it doesn't come from me. I am the vessel, so you're getting it from the Most High of light, you know. Mary Magdalene, yes you are. Who doesn't want healing from them? You know, I've received healing from them, and yeah, I'm more the better for it, you know. And so yeah, shall leave it there, and I'll post these vids for you, and Happy Lionsgate and full moon. Step through that portal. Don't miss these portals. Can transform your life, you know. That's what these portals are here for. So I shall speak to you soon.